Super Mario Galaxy. When Nintendo dropped Super Mario Galaxy in 2007, it felt like the entire platforming genre flipped on its head. Instead of flat worlds and predictable jumps, you were suddenly running around tiny planets where gravity pulled you in every direction. One second Mario's upside down, the next he's slingshotting across space. It was chaotic in the best way possible, and the Wii's motion controls made it click. Point the remote to scoop up star bits, flick your wrist to spin, it all felt fresh. Reviewers couldn't stop raving. Galaxy sits at a 97 on Metacritic, one of the highest scores any game has ever earned. The level design was endlessly inventive, the fully orchestrated soundtrack gave it this almost cinematic feel, and the hub world with Rosalina tied it all together like a fairy tale. Players clearly felt the same. Super Mario Galaxy went on to move over 12 million copies, proving that the Wii wasn't just about party tricks, it could deliver all-time classics. For a lot of people, this was the exact game that made them realize the Wii wasn't just fun for family nights, it could be legendary. Super Smash Bros. Brawl. When Brawl hit the Wii in 2008, it felt like the biggest crossover gaming had ever seen. Nintendo packed in a roster of over 35 fighters, bringing together icons from Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, and even third-party legends like Snake from Metal Gear Solid, and more. Fans had dreamed of those matchups for years, and suddenly you can make them happen in your living room. What really made Brawl stand out was its ambition. It wasn't just a party fighter anymore, it came with a full single-player story mode called the Subspace Emissary. That mode stitched together cutscenes featuring every character, turning the game into this wild Nintendo crossover movie you could actually play through. On top of that, online play let you battle friends anywhere in the world, a first for the series, even if the Wii's online wasn't perfect. Critics praised the sheer scale and content, with Brawl earning a 93 on Metacritic. It became one of the Wii's best-selling games, moving over 13 million copies. For many fans, Brawl was the ultimate mix of chaotic fun and dream matchups, the kind of game that turned late-night hangouts into hours-long tournaments. The Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess was the Wii's big launch title in 2006, and Nintendo made sure it felt like an event. After the colorful, divisive style of Wind Waker, this Zelda went dark and gritty. Players were thrown into Hyrule at war with Shadow, a kingdom swallowed by Twilight, and a Link who could transform into a wolf. That hook alone instantly set it apart from every Zelda that came before. The motion controls were a selling point too. Swinging the Wii Remote acted as Link's sword, aiming the nunchuck handled your bow, and for many players, it made combat feel more hands-on than ever. While the motion swings weren't always perfect, the novelty of physically slashing through enemies carried weight. Critics and fans were blown away. Twilight Princess holds a 95 on Metacritic, with praise for its epic scale, cinematic presentation, and dungeon design. Midna, Link's mysterious partner, also became one of the most beloved characters in the series. The story struck a darker tone, with a more mature Hyrule that felt closer to Ocarina of Time than anything in years. It sold over 9 million copies, and for many, Twilight Princess proved the Wii wasn't just about party minigames, it could deliver massive, story-driven adventures too. If you've enjoyed the video so far, be sure to leave a like and subscribe down below. New Super Mario Bros. Wii. In 2009, Nintendo struck gold by bringing Mario back to his roots with New Super Mario Bros. Wii. After years of 3D adventures, this game was a return to classic side-scrolling action, but with a modern twist. The real hook was 4-player co-op, letting friends and family jump into the same level at the same time. What sounded fun on paper turned into pure chaos in practice. Players could help each other reach secret areas, but just as often as they ended up bouncing off each other into lava. That unpredictability made it one of the most entertaining couch co-op games ever. The game wasn't just riding on nostalgia though. It introduced new power-ups like the propeller suit, letting Mario rocket high into the sky, and the penguin suit, which gave slippery levels a whole new feel. The level design balanced approachable stages for beginners with hidden challenges for veterans, creating something that clicked with almost anyone who picked it up. Critics gave it strong reviews, praising the blend of old-school platforming and fresh mechanics. It landed an 87 on Metacritic and went on to sell over 30 million copies, making it one of the Wii's top-selling titles. This was proof that Mario in 2D could dominate the modern gaming landscape. Donkey Kong Country returns. When Retro Studios revived Donkey Kong Country in 2010, fans were nervous. The SNES trilogy was legendary, and expectations were sky high. What they delivered was a love letter to the old games that also stood tall on its own. Donkey Kong Country Returns brought back the iconic side-scrolling action, but cranked up the challenge. Levels were fast, punishing, and packed with secrets, forcing players to master tight jumps and quick reflexes. This was no casual platformer, it was something different. The motion controls added a Wii twist. Shaking the remote made DK pound the ground or roll into enemies, while the nunchuck's joystick handled movement. Some fans debated whether motion was necessary, but it didn't overshadow the fact that the level design was brilliant. Minecart rides, rocket barrel sequences, and classic jungle stages kept players hooked from start to finish. The game scored an 87 on Metacritic and was celebrated for bringing Donkey Kong back to relevance. Co-op play let a second player jump in as Diddy Kong, complete with his jetpack and peanut gun, making teamwork essential in the harder stages. With over 6 million copies sold, Donkey Kong Country Returns reminded everyone that Donkey Kong wasn't just a relic of the 90s, he was still one of Nintendo's heaviest hitters. Mario Kart Wii. In 2008, Mario Kart Wii launched another entry in the series, and it turned living rooms into racetracks everywhere. This was the game that introduced the Wii Wheel, a plastic shell you slid the remote into, making steering as simple as tilting left and right. It wasn't just a gimmick for millions of players, it made racing instantly accessible. Even people who had never touched a controller could jump in and start drifting around corners. Mario Kart Wii packed in 32 tracks, mixing brand new courses with remastered classics. For the first time, bikes joined the roster, adding new handling mechanics that rewarded sharp turning and wheelies. The roster of characters ballooned to including everyone from Baby Peach to Funky Kong, giving the game a chaotic personality that matched its gameplay. Online multiplayer was another huge leap, letting racers from all over the world compete in 12-player showdowns. Critics scored it well, with an 82 on Metacritic, but the real story was its popularity. Mario Kart Wii became the second best-selling game on the console, moving a staggering over 37 million copies worldwide. It turned casual family nights into heated battles and cemented Mario Kart as one of Nintendo's most reliable heavyweights. Few Wii games captured the console's spirit of fun quite like this one. Wii Sports. Wii Sports was the face of the Wii itself. Bundled with nearly every console starting in 2006, it turned millions of living rooms into makeshift gyms and bowling alleys. The beauty of Wii Sports was its simplicity. You didn't need to know button combos or gaming history. You just swung the Wii remote like a tennis racket, rolled it like a bowling ball, or jabbed it like a glove in boxing. Suddenly, gaming made sense to people who had never picked up a controller. The collection included 5 sports: tennis, bowling, boxing, baseball, and golf. None of them were particularly deep on their own, but together they created an experience that was endlessly replayable with friends and family. Bowling nights and tennis matches became touchstones, and Wii Sports quickly became a necessity for the Wii. Critics praised its accessibility, even if they noted the lack of content compared to traditional games, but the real impact was in the numbers. Wii Sports sold over 82 million copies, making it the best-selling single-platform game of all time. More than sales, it introduced gaming to grandparents, parents, and kids alike. For many, Wii Sports wasn't just their first Wii game, it was their first video game ever. Rayman Origins. By the time Rayman Origins landed on the Wii in 2011, the franchise had been dormant for years, overshadowed by the Rabbids spin-offs. But Origins was a full-blown comeback, and it reminded everyone why Rayman mattered. Hand-drawn 2D animation gave the game a vibrant, cartoonish look that stood out even in an era dominated by 3D graphics. Every level looked like it had been painted straight onto the screen, bursting with personality and fluid movement. Gameplay was classic platforming with a modern twist. You could run up walls, glide across air currents, and team up with friends in chaotic 4-player co-op. The challenge curve was spot on, approachable at the start but downright brutal by the later stages. And unlike some Wii titles that leaned heavily on motion, Rayman Origins kept things tight with precise button controls, letting its mechanics shine without distraction. Critics adored it, with reviews highlighting its artistry, humor, and clever design. It pulled in a 92 on Metacritic and helped re-establish Rayman as a major platforming icon. While it didn't sell on the level of Nintendo's own heavyweights, Origins still carved out a strong fanbase. For many Wii owners, it was proof that third-party studios could deliver gems every bit as polished as Nintendo's. Wii Sports Resort. In 2009, Nintendo followed up its cultural phenomenon with Wii Sports Resort, and this sequel showed just how much more the Wii remote could do. The game was bundled with the new Wii Motion Plus accessory, which gave the controller far more precise tracking. Suddenly, every swing, tilt, and jab felt sharper and more realistic. If Wii Sports was the proof of concept, Wii Sports Resort was the full package. The game featured 12 different sports, more than doubling the original lineup. Players could dive into archery, basketball, swordplay, wakeboarding, cycling, table tennis, and more. The new activities weren't just filler. Swordplay duels and archery competitions became instant favorites, while old classics like bowling and golf returned with smoother, more accurate controls. Set on Woohoo Island, the game had a sense of place that tied everything together. You weren't just selecting sports from a menu, you were visiting a sunny resort where each event felt like a part of a bigger vacation. Critics loved the variety and improved precision, and Wii Sports Resort scored an 80 on Metacritic. Commercially, it was another juggernaut, selling over 33 million copies worldwide. It proved lightning could strike twice, and for many players, it cemented Wii Sports as more than a fad. It was a defining part of the Wii era. Wii Fit. When Wii Fit launched in 2007, it didn't just try to be a video game, it tried to be part of your lifestyle. Bundled with the Wii Balance Board, it transformed exercise into something interactive, turning yoga poses, step aerobics, and balance games into daily routines. The balance board itself was a clever piece of hardware, measuring your weight, posture, and even tracking subtle shifts in balance. Suddenly, your living room was a personal gym. Nintendo marketed Wii Fit as a way to stay active, appealing not to just gamers but to parents, grandparents, and anyone who looked for a new approach to fitness. Critics gave it mixed reviews for depth, but praised it for innovation. Its Metacritic score sits at 80, reflecting how groundbreaking it was for the time. What really mattered though was its cultural impact. Wii Fit wasn't about high scores or boss fights, it was about convincing millions that video games could be healthy. The gamble paid off. Wii Fit sold over 22 million copies, and its sequel, Wii Fit Plus, pushed the total past 43 million. For years, the balance board was a staple in living rooms, proving that Nintendo could redefine not only how people play, but also how they think about games entirely. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment and let me know your favorite Wii game.